In today's lesson, we are talking about marketing. So let's get started. What is marketing? Well, our definition says that marketing is all the activities involved in getting goods and services from the businesses that produce them to the customers who wish to purchase them. Okay, this is quite vague, so in a little bit more detail, this involves decisions about actually developing the products and services before we even try to sell them to customers. It involves a lot of research to help us understand our customers and what they want from us. It involves lots of decisions surrounding what we call the 4 Ps, which is everything to do with the actual product itself, possibly packaging, the place where it is, what that place looks like, how it gets to our customers, the price that it's offered at, as well as all the promotions and advertisings. Along with that, it also involves activities that have to do with both brand development and brand maintenance. So, in a little bit of a different wording, basically marketing is putting the right product sold at the right price in the right place using the most suitable promotion. So, what exactly is the role of marketing? Okay, there's 2 main parts to it. One, we are trying to sell what a business makes and all the things that go into doing that. And the second one, as was mentioned before, is managing the business's brand. These are the 2 main roles. So working as a marketer, you might be working on selling a specific product or service, or working within the scope of developing a business's brand or reputation, or a combination of both. So, marketing is everywhere. Most people are familiar with the term of marketing, but I'm not sure that you fully realize how much you interact with it. Okay, marketing happens every time. Producers are trying to sell to stores. So before it gets anywhere near its customers, when a farmer wants to sell its product to, grocery store, or even a food terminal, before it goes through a grocery store, marketing is involved. Of course, we know the traditional marketing when stores are trying to sell goods and services to the customers. Okay, and within the world of services, letting people know where they are and what they offer. Okay, but not just for-profit businesses, lots of non-for-profit businesses do this. We see churches involved in marketing. We see lots of charities involved with marketing as well. We also see marketing being used with politicians, okay? And even not necessarily politicians, but social media influences or people that are trying to promote ideas around the world. And of course, you also are going to use marketing, okay? Whether it is to get a job, to get into university, to create friendships, we all actively market ourselves to the world around us, whether we are aware of it or not. And so these concepts are very much universal and can be used everywhere. So to help us understand all the different aspects of marketing a little better, we're going to start by looking at the word market itself, the base word for marketing. Okay, the word market actually has 3 different definitions, okay, and each of them, it kind of dictates some different things that we do within marketing. So our first definition, okay, most people when they hear market, they think of a noun, and that is a place, okay. A lot of people think farmers markets, okay, that is a market, okay, but really a market is any place where buyers and sellers meet. So it could be a farmer's market, it could be a mall, it could be online at a larger location like Amazon or a store's website, or it could be on an online app like Etsy or eBay or Kijiji, where we're just connecting individual sellers and buyers. Okay, it could be on a street corner. It could be literally anywhere where a buyer and seller comes together, and of course that includes places like the stock markets. Okay, there are decisions that need to go into these places where products are sold and where you're placing your products, and that's one of the aspects of marketing, especially when we look at the 4 Ps. All right, our next definition for marketing, okay, is the verb market. Okay, and this is offering a product or service for sale. So an example of this, Mr. Christie has decided to market colorful Chips Ahoy cookies. Okay, any producer or any company that offers a product or service for sale is using marketing, okay, in that verb form to market a product. They're offering it for sale. They're putting it out there. They're doing activities to help sell an item. Okay, I think this is the one that most people think of when they think of marketing. They think of, advertising, they think of commercials. We're hoping that you're seeing that there's much more that goes into marketing, but this is definitely an important aspect of it. And our final definition, which is going to be the one that we're going to focus more on today, is actually a group of customers. Okay, so a market can also be used as a term for a group of customers who share common wants and needs and who have the ability to purchase a product or service. Okay, so the market of customers for any product truly is every person in the world. Okay, however, generally we're looking for more specifics because not everybody's going to buy every product or service. Okay, so within marketing, we are looking at a group of customers with common wants and needs. Okay, some examples of this might be the teenage market. Okay, so all those customers that are teenagers, the thing that unites them is their age, and that might create some common wants and needs for them, things that you need at that age that maybe other ages don't need. Okay, another example would be the female market. So all the people in the world that identify as female, okay, there is generally going to be some common wants or needs that are only needed by that group of people. Okay, another one might be single parent market. Okay, there's lots of different ways that we do it, and we're going to explore a little bit more into this. So those are your three definitions, and as I mentioned, we're looking specifically at market with the concept of these groups of people. So market segmentation is basically what we do with this. Okay, we take all of the people and we put them into groups. Okay, and these groups are done based off of common characteristics that they have. Okay, I want to be very clear now, when we do market segmentation, this is not meant to be a discriminating action. Okay, what we are doing is we are putting people into groups based off of characteristics that result in buying behaviors. So at no point are we saying as a business, you know what, we're only going to sell to this group of people. That's not what we're doing. What we're doing is we're looking at the population and we're saying, based off of these characteristics, this is the group that is most likely to buy our product, and therefore the decisions we make for our product or service are going to be geared towards them. The type of advertising we choose, the price that we offer at, the location where the item is sold, the colors that we use on the packaging. You know, are we doing a radio ad or a newspaper ad or a TV ad or a social media ad? Okay, so again, anyone can buy the product, but we need to pick this group that is most likely to buy our products so that we can make sure we're really specializing our actions towards them and encouraging them to buy our product. And that's the most likely way that we're going to succeed. So let's look at a small example. If we look at this circle here as, you know, all the people around, we are going to take a moment and we are going to segment them or put them into groups. Okay, so I have made this group here on this side. These to me are all of the people that have children. Okay, so anybody that's not in that box, the dark blue and the yellow, these are people that do not have children for whatever reason. Okay, it might be age, right? There's a large group of them that are children themselves, so they don't have children. Okay, but we're specifically getting a smaller chunk of all the people with children. Of all the people with children, I'm then going to narrow down a little further, and I'm going to look at these ones. So these people, yes, they have children, but more specifically, they still have children living in their homes, right? There's lots of people in, their 80s and 90s who have children, but they're generally not living at home with them. They're adults and they're doing their own thing. So I've segmented down a little bit further. So these are my people that have children and they have children living at home. Okay, I'm going to go a little bit further and I'm going to say this group here, this orange group here, they have children living at home, and those children are under the age of 5. Okay, so I have created this nice and specific segment. Okay, why does this matter? Well, as we mentioned, market segments, they have similar wants or needs. So what are the things that this group are going to do that's different than other groups? Well, they're likely going to be spending a fair bit of money on childcare or daycare because their children are not in school yet. Or maybe have a lower income because one person is staying home with that child. They may be interested in products such as diapers. Okay, they have very specific needs that nobody else outside of this group are likely going to be looking at. Okay, if you don't have children under 5, if you don't have children at all, or they're not living with you anymore, you're likely not going to be thinking about the same things or needing the same products or services, or being drawn to the same products or services. Okay, so that's a very small example. There are lots of ways that we segment our market, lots of things that we look at to help divide people into groups. There's 4 main ones, which we call demographics, psychographics, behavioral, or geographics, and we're going to go through those in details. So demographics, what are they? These are the way that we, again, divide the market into groups. These are based on variables that are very easy to see or identify on people. Okay, these are the things that you can generally find on the website StatsCan. Okay, and what that is when the government, every 4 years or 5 years, when the government takes a census of the whole population, they ask, general questions about age and gender, and those are published. And those are very easy to identify with a person, either looking at them or finding this information. Nice and easy to see. So let's get into specifics. Okay, one category of demographics that we use is age. Okay, are you an infant, a child, teen, adult, or senior? Again, we're not being super specific. We're not saying we're targeting people that are 17 years old. We're generally looking at age groups that have similar buying behaviors. An important thing to note with age is there's this concept of a gatekeeper. So, for example, with infants and children, okay, just because you get a child to want that sugar-filled cereal does not necessarily mean that it's going to get purchased. Why? Because that child doesn't have its own money and it doesn't always have the authority to make those decisions. A gatekeeper is an adult who has an opinion and direction that makes that purchase happen. So when you are marketing products to groups that have gatekeepers, you have to keep that in mind when making those decisions, right? Infants don't care whether their products, are BPA free, but that gatekeeper might, so that might be important. And important to remember that on the other end of the spectrum, seniors often have gatekeepers as well. When they get to a certain age or stage, they often have other people in their life that are, maybe doing the shopping for them or making those decisions for them. Okay, another common demographic that is used is gender. Okay, and again, not being discriminatory, not saying one person, only females can buy this product. But if you think about any time you've walked through the store, I think you can definitely relate and say, this product is being marketed towards females, or this product is being specifically marketed towards men. And what that just means is that when doing that, market segmentation, the company identified saying women are the most likely to buy this product. So let's make sure, the colors and the graphics and the images and those packaging and the things that we do, really draw those people in. Sometimes it's products that, generally only that gender would use, like a feminine hygiene product. Okay. But other times it's not. And sometimes we often see in the market products that are the same, but are marketed very differently. If you think about soaps, shampoos, and razors, right, there's a very clear difference between men and females in the packaging and the advertising, even though the product itself is very, very similar. And just as a life lesson right here, women's razors are the exact same as men's razors. They're just put in a pink package, made to look more girly and priced more expensively. Okay, so, that's definitely a win for marketers that they've been able to do that, but as a consumer, being aware of that and making some purchasing decisions based off of that. The next one we talk about is family life cycle. So just because you are a certain age, for example, saying that, all adults are going to be needing to buy products for their children, that's not fair. That's not a commonality. And especially in today's world, that age when things happen is becoming more and more drastically different. So if I look at, myself versus a number of my friends are the exact same age as me. I have one friend who is single and living on her own. I have one friend who's newly engaged and planning a wedding. I have another friend that's, been married for quite a while, but they don't have children and they, get to go travel the world. I have another friend who has teenagers as children. And I myself have, a 1-year-old child. Those things that we are thinking about and spending our money on are very, very different based off of kind of where we are in what's called that family life cycle. So, single, married, married without children, married with young children, married with teenagers, retired and your children have moved out of the home, et cetera, et cetera. Some other ones that we look at would be our income level or educational background. Okay, of course, our income level is going to dictate a lot of those products that we are looking at, as well as ethnicity and culture. So again, ethnicity is, your heritage and your background. That's not something you change. Your culture is, more that society that you live in and you function in and you believe in. So an example, my ethnicity is Dutch. My family comes from Holland and Ireland. Okay. However, my culture is very much influenced by where I currently live in Canada. Okay. However, there are some cultural norms that I do bring from my family in Holland that we bring into our family and whatnot. So that's just kind of the difference there. The next one we're going to look at is psychographics. Okay, psychographics, if you think of the word psycho, it's a lot like psychology, which has to do with our brain. So these are things that are generally much harder to see on people because it has to do with what's going on in their brain. It has to do with their lifestyle, their hobbies, their interests, their values, their attitudes, and their social class. Okay, so if we think about it, people who are runners that go running every day, they're going to have different interests. They're going to buy different things than people who don't do that. Okay, if your hobbies include music, those are going to be different purchases than somebody whose hobbies include sports. Okay, your values, somebody who, is very, very eco-friendly is going to be making very different purchasing decisions than somebody that isn't as concerned about that. Okay, so these are very important. They very much do affect the things that we purchase, but as marketers, these can be a little bit more difficult to see and to research and to understand. However, not so much to market towards. Okay, you'll notice that if you look at, musical instruments and those things versus sporting stuff, they are marketed in a very different way because they understand kind of what those people who are interested in those are looking for. The next one is behavioral, okay? And again, this is getting much more in-depth, okay? These are dividing people up based off of their consumer behaviors, okay? So one of that would be reasons for buying. And again, one person doesn't always have these things, doesn't always have these same things. These can change over time. But when you are looking more specifically, as you can see from the image, about my product versus them buying my competitor's product, okay, what am I looking for? Am I looking for somebody that's, their reason for buying is, just a last minute, like, oh, shoot, I need this? Or is their reason for buying something different? Okay. Also, what benefit are they looking for? Okay, we can really, really see the difference in these with brand names and no names. Okay, are you looking for something, really high quality, longer lasting, or, with that image of I can afford a brand name, or are you just looking for, that product that just works at the cheapest price? Okay, the type of user, what are you using it for? Okay, and how often are you using it? Okay, people that are runners, when they look to buy running shoes, they're going to be using them a lot. And so they're going to be looking for different items and different features than somebody that, is just buying a pair of running shoes to have, to maybe go on a hike every once a month with their family. Okay, so those usage rates definitely vary. Okay, as well as loyalty. Some people by nature are much more brand loyal than others. And knowing that consumers are always going to buy from your brand, or as a competitive, that it's going to take a lot to get them to consider a different brand, that's really important to know about those possible consumers. And finally, we're going to look at geographic. Okay, geography, this is location. Okay, so what neighborhoods or cities are you in? There's going to be different things that are purchased by people that live in Kitchener-Waterloo than those that live in Toronto. Okay, and then even within a specific location, are you in an urban downtown setting? Living in apartments or condos? Are you in suburban where you're living, in houses and there's a little more space, or are you rural? Okay. And even just thinking of things like, snow removal. Okay. If you're living in a condo, you probably don't need to buy a shovel, but if you're in suburban, you probably do. And if you're in rural, you probably need like a tractor with a plow on it because you have a lot more space to deal with. Okay. Countries. Okay. Things that people that live in Brazil buy are going to be different than things that people in Canada buy. Okay. By location and weather, but also by, customs and beliefs. Okay. And then some products might be global. Okay. If you want to offer something globally, that's, things that you need to think about. All right. So all of this leads us to the concept of a target market. So market segmentation, as we've been talking about, that is the act of putting people into categories. Okay. Why we put people into categories? It's to determine what we call a target market. Okay. Who are the customers who are most likely to buy your product or service? Okay. It might be one very specific market segmentation. There might be a few. Okay. But really, like I mentioned, who is most likely to buy it? And therefore, we're going to make decisions on how we actually market and sell this product based on that. So, do it a little bit in reverse. We're going to just look at a few products quickly and look at, how are we going to define that target market. So this is a product that's currently being sold by Walmart. It has a price tag of just over $400, and it is, a heavy-duty plastic play structure for the outdoors for children. Its recommended ages is 4 to 10. Okay, you can see it's got a little house and a little water station and a little barbecue at the side and whatnot there. So if we go through our categories, demographics, who is this being targeted towards? Okay, yes, it's being targeted towards children, right? It says right on it for 4 to 10-year-olds. However, we have to be very aware that that is a gatekeeper market. Okay, a 4-year-old is not going to go to the store with $400 and buy this for themselves. Okay, it's very much the parents making this decision. Okay, we also want to note that likely this is being targeted at a moderate or higher income, somebody that has an extra $400 to buy a play structure for their child. Okay, some psychographics, some mental things that we're talking about. Really the main one here would be the importance of outdoors and outdoor play. Would be the one that I would identify, right? Wanting those children to get outdoor and kind of have some of that independent play. Okay, behavioral. Okay, we see this advertised a lot on this product. It keeps talking about, it's a heavy duty, it's a long lasting. Okay, so people that are looking to buy a product, especially with that price tag as well, that's going to last a long time. Okay, this isn't a toy that's going to get thrown out after a week. Okay, and geographic. Okay, for someone to purchase this, they need some outdoor property. Okay, so they're not going to be in an urban core in an apartment. They're likely going to be in a suburban area with a backyard that they could put this in. Okay, and so this is likely the market segmentation that this company came up with for this product, and therefore made a lot of those decisions that we use as keys going out there. The materials that they made, using some higher end materials that therefore costs a little more, pricing it at that higher range, okay, and whatnot. Okay, yeah, so that's the target market for that. So let's look at another one. Okay, this is, if you can see, a stroller for a dog. Okay, so not all target markets carry all 4 of those segmentation categories. Okay, you have to really look at what the most important thing here is. Okay, so for this one, okay, I wouldn't necessarily, by looking at it, be able to guess an age group that would be looking at this one. The most important thing to me when I look at this is psychographics. Okay, they first need to own a dog, and it needs to be a small dog, okay, based on the size of this. Okay, and beyond owning and being beyond owning a small dog, they need to be what we would call, like a dog lover. Okay, somebody that wants to take their dog out in a stroller for long walks, okay, and kind of wants that higher end pampering for their dogs. Okay, that may be the wrong term for it. I know lots of people love their dogs. I'm not implying that. I'm just saying that, it's this type of people with those, that psychographic of wanting to kind of pamper their dog. Okay, as well, behavioral. Okay, this would be a very high brand loyal product. Okay, it's a very high-end, very expensive brand, much more expensive than any other one. So generally people are buying them, because that is what they go after. Okay. Leading from that, you could also put in things like a higher income. But really the main key here that we're looking at, the people that we're going to be selling this product to, okay, is that really very much that psychographic or that belief. All right, so that is your introduction to marketing, and then moving more specifically into that idea of a target market. This is always our first step in marketing, identifying a target market, because as I've been alluding to, a lot of the other decisions that we make going forward come off of that target market. The way that we market this product, the way that we promote this product, where we put it, the price we put it at, is dependent on who that target market is. So that's why this is our first step.
Thank you so much for watching today's lesson, brought to you by Plug-in to Learning. All the resources used in this video are linked in the description below. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. And to continue learning with us, please subscribe.